Hi everyone, hope everyone's well, hope you're all doing well, hope you're having a good day. If you're new here, I'm Melanie and I do different types of videos. This is a chatty video, you're not going to see me if this is the first video you come across. I've done a lot of these recently, although I've not posted many of them, but you know, they're ready to go live at some point. This is going to be unedited, so I might ramble on, I might not, who knows, probably ramble on. So if that's not your kind of video, you might want to skip it at this point, or, you know, you might want to carry on watching it, who knows. So it's currently Sunday the 30th of October, 29th of October, 2023. I hadn't planned to film this morning. The clocks went back last night, which I'm grateful for because couldn't get to sleep. Like, I was awake when the clock went back. It's so surreal seeing that happen. You know, like 1 minute it's like 1:59 a.m. and then it's like 1 a.m. Like, that's just so weird when that happens. But anyway, I just realised I need to change the bloody clocks. Oh. Do you know what's funny? Sometimes we don't actually have that many clocks because the clock that's in here used to be my bedroom clock. So have you ever seen a vlog where I show the clock in my bedroom? It's been down here for a long time, well over a year I'd say, because it actually fits really well in this room, as in the colour of it with the room, because I did have a different clock in here, I don't know what it is, I probably donated it to charity. It was like a bronze rose gold colour, because I had a rose gold thing, do you know, like when everyone did, and I had like rose gold bins, which I donated to charity because, you know, I didn't want them anymore. And then a few rose gold bits and pieces, and one of them was the clock. But I painted the room white. I need to do another coat. Well, I need to finish it off, really. And I was like, I really want a clock. I don't really want that one anymore. I want a white one. And I never saw one that I particularly liked. And then I was like, I've got the perfect one in my bedroom. So that's the one that I've got in here. But obviously, it's 55 minutes ahead because it's a bit slow. It needs a new battery, so when I do get it down I need to change the battery. The one in the kitchen, the battery went ages ago, but the clock's in a position where you don't really see it that often, but I might change the battery in that. Recently I've been like, oh, I should change that. So I don't have one in my bedroom to change. The one in my dad's living room is one of those that changes itself, I think. Am I thinking that? I know he's got one in his office that does. There's that one in his bedroom, in his living room. And then there's one in his bathroom, but I don't think that ever tells the right time anyway. So there's not a lot. But there used to be a time where, like, it would take me months to change clocks. Like weeks, maybe weeks. Because it's just a pain. But this isn't what the video is actually about. So when I woke up, I wanted to see, like, what time it was. And I stupidly picked my phone up, and I try not to pick my phone up. For the last few months, I've been very, like, not regimented, but I've been very strict with myself that if I wake up, if I really desperately want to know the time, I have to look at my watch and not my phone. Because sometimes I'll pick my phone up and I won't just look at the time. I will go on it and I will look at things. And sometimes I'm only on it for 5 minutes. And sometimes, like, I can still get back to sleep pretty much the same time it would if I didn't look at it. But sometimes I look at it 5 minutes and it might take me 10-15 minutes to fall back to sleep, and I might only have an hour before my alarm's due, so that's 15 minutes less sleep. But sometimes I'll go on my phone, I'll be on it for 45 minutes, and yeah, I might have 2 hours, but I might have took 45 minutes off that time. And if I lie down, I'm not going to fall asleep straight away because I might have looked at something that's had my mind very active. So I try not to look at it, and I've been really good, but recently there's been a few times where I've looked at it and been on it a bit too long. And this morning I looked at something, I think I looked at my emails, I don't know why, because I don't get many at weekends. Does anyone else get tons in the week, and then at weekend you, like, especially on the Sunday, you don't really get many? And then I went on the news website that I go on. I think some of you know which one it is. And then I read the main headline because you can't miss it. And you know, like when it doesn't really hit you straight away because you're tired and it's probably, you don't expect to read what you're actually reading. And this was like quite a few hours ago. Like, I will tell you, I didn't go back to sleep. I tried to go back to sleep. I just ended up lying there. So I was planning on going back to sleep. I think before I read the news, I think I'd set my alarm for an hour and 45 later, thinking it might take me 10 minutes to go back to sleep. And I honestly could have done with that time. I'm absolutely exhausted. I didn't get enough sleep yesterday or the day before. Well, any day really. And obviously the husky wants to get up, so there you go. But the headline, which, if you remember what happened on the 29th of October, Matthew Perry dead at 54. So then I read, Matthew Perry, 54, dies after drowning in jacuzzi at his LA home following 2-hour pickleball session with no drugs found at the scene. As friends, co-stars pay tribute and loved ones say they are in a state of shock. And I clicked on it and started reading it because immediately I did feel, oh, that's sad. But as I started reading down it, I got more upset. And I think the reason it didn't hit me straight away, probably because you don't expect to read it. I think unless someone's sick or whatever, you don't expect to see that they've died. I mean, 54 is not old. But I did get upset the further down that I got. Because I think the TV show was such and is such a big show that even if you were old enough to watch it when it was first on, which some of us weren't, or even if you were born afterwards, everyone knows what Friends is. Like, even teenagers know what Friends is, who, you know, could be the children of the TV stars. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just, it, like, even my dad knows what Friends is, and my dad's an older man. Like, I used to, I don't watch much TV, but sometimes on a Sunday I'd have the TV on, and I'd be doing, housework and stuff all day, and sometimes I'd sit down and watch an episode of Friends, or watch bits of it, or I could hear it, and it was just, and it's so funny, and I've not watched it for months and months and months. If it's on any of the TV today and I have it on, I'll probably sit and watch it. But even though, I'm obviously, not a die-hard Matthew Perry fan, but I am a fan of the TV show, and he actually wrote some of the TV show. He used to go in the writer's room and write scenes and write parts that his character was saying. And he was a funny man that did struggle with addiction. Well, everyone who watches Friends knows who Matthew Perry is, whether or not they're a fan or not. It's still very sad. But what struck me about this newspaper site, and I'm guessing all newspaper sites are going to be very similar, the amount of stories, headline stories on here about him. When people die, sometimes there is loads of different articles and stuff, there might be 5 or 6, but there's an obscene amount of articles. The next one is Matthew Perry's mum, father and stepdad are seen arriving at their son's LA home looking stricken just hours after the Friends stars was found dead. Then the next story, Matthew Perry's Friends co-star breaks silence on tragic death at 54 while sharing she feels blessed to have shared so many creative moments with the beloved actor. Then the next one, Matthew Perry's haunting last Instagram post. Friends star relaxes in jacuzzi just days before tragic death from drowning at age 54. Then the next one, Matthew Perry death, Adele honours incredibly brave former Friends star at Las Vegas show. Next story, over a dozen life-saving operations, 15 trips to rehab, and 6,000 visits to AA, how Matthew Perry spent $9 million on battle with drink and drugs addiction. Next story. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau pays one tribute to Matthew Perry after Friends star revealed he'd once beaten up the politician in schoolyard. Next story. Saturday Night Live pays tribute to Matthew Perry as former Friends star sudden death age 54 is confirmed 26 years after he hosted the comedy show. Next story. He will be missed by many. Selma Blair, Shannon Doherty and Janice Actor from Friends lead heartfelt celebrity tributes to Matthew Perry. Next story. Matthew Perry looks slightly dishevelled in sweatpants and t-shirt while out to dinner in last photo of the Friends star before his death at age 54. Next story. Matthew Perry posted heartbreaking final photo with dad John, 82, less than 2 weeks before Friends star's death of accidental drowning, age 54. Don't know why they keep needing to mention his age. Next story. Matthew Perry's years-long addiction to alcohol and opiates derailed his love life and ability to settle down prior to his tragic death from drowning at 54. Next story. Matthew Perry's extraordinary life in pictures following his death at 54, from iconic Friends star to best-selling author. Next story. Matthew, and this is all like on the same page, one after another. Matthew Perry's emotional Friends reunion. Actor burst into tears and was comforted by Jennifer Aniston and co-stars 2 years prior to his death. Next story. Matthew Perry's most iconic moments as Chandler Bing remembered following Friends star's tragic passing at age 54. Next story. Matthew Perry's cause of death revealed as world mourns passing of beloved Friends star at age 54. Next story. Everyone's best friend Matthew Perry rocketed to fame as sarcastic but sweet Chandler Bing in the hit 90s sitcom before bravely speaking out about crippling addiction. Next story. Matthew Perry praised Jennifer Aniston for continuing to check on him after Friends wrapped. She was the one that reached out the most. Next story. Matthew Perry's sudden death sparks grief across sports world. Friends actor, former junior tennis star and die-hard NHL fan is remembered. And then you go down a bit further, there's another story. Inside Matthew Perry's desperate trip to Australia to pitch himself as a movie star after the final episode of Friends. As rumours swirled, his drug problem was spiraling out of control. And that might be it. I mean, by it, there is an obscene amount of stories. Like, I've never seen anything like this when people have died. Yeah, I've seen maybe 5, 6, 7, but that is a lot. That is a lot. And then I go on social media and there's just videos and posts, and there was one that really got to me, and it was outside his house and it was night time. I mean, I don't know what time it gets dark there, and there's like people everywhere, like paparazzi and just general people, and his stepdad's there. I'm gonna have to walk across the room to let the husky in. She's been outside. And his stepdad's there, and a car pulls up. And it's his mum and dad, and his stepdad goes to see them both, and then they come through to his house. And it was upsetting to watch because all these people are filming and taking pictures of them when they're clearly grieving. And I know people are going to be curious and everyone wants to see what's going on and stuff. But can you imagine, like, they're in their 80s and they clearly probably didn't expect to outlive the son, although obviously he has had addictions. It doesn't mean that he died because of his addictions. He could have died for any numerous reasons. But, you know, it must be hard for them to go there and have to put up with media circus, everyone filming them and like pictures being all over the papers or whatever, because, you know, they should be allowed to do that in private. And it was upsetting to watch this video, and it wasn't even a long video. And it was like, imagine how you would feel if it was the other way around and you're being filmed by countless people when you're trying to go to your son's house. I mean, I don't know if he was still there at that point, but, and then the next thing that I came across, and I wasn't even looking for this stuff, the next thing I came across was just this tribute to him that a fan had done. And it's just so upsetting, even though I obviously wasn't a die-hard Matthew Perry fan, it's still, I'm finding it quite upsetting. And I think it's because obviously I've probably seen every episode of Friends like loads of times. Like, obviously I've not sat there and watched them one after another like in one go, but I've obviously seen every episode, and I've probably seen every episode lots of times. And it is sad. It, like, I'd say, like, I don't know what age I discovered Friends, but I'd say I probably discovered them in my teenage years, I'm guessing. And I really liked Friends. I remember, like, I don't know if it was like my favourite TV show, like, but there was this one Christmas my mum bought me, and I didn't even ask for them. Like, I don't think I particularly asked for stuff at Christmas at, like, at that age. I don't know if I was like, I was either 15 or, well, I think I was 16, and my mum bought me these massive cappuccino mugs. One was blue, one was yellow, and it had the Friends logo on. But they were massive, like, humongous, like I can't even describe how big they are. I've never had a cappuccino mug that big, even if I've been to the shop for, like, if I've been in a cafe and had a proper cappuccino mug. It was huge. Probably the size they are in America, because you know everything's bigger than America. She also bought me a Friends clock. I remember opening it and thinking, oh my god, like, it was just this clock with the Friends cast picture on, and it was like a rectangle shape, and I was like, I didn't particularly like the clock. I feel like I was a bit too old for a Friends clock. I believe I did put it up in my bedroom for a time, oh god. But the cappuccino mugs were massive. I didn't use them that often because the amount of liquid it held, it was just obscene. I couldn't drink it all. But yeah, it's just sad. And like, when you come across things online, it's just upsetting because it's sad. Like, it makes it more sad because of the struggles that he's had. And maybe they've all had struggles because obviously they were mega, mega famous, but they've not been mega, mega famous since. Like, they've done things, but they're not to the level of success that they had on Friends. But it is sad. And obviously it'll probably come out how he died. And people are speculating, but you shouldn't speculate because absolutely anything could have happened. He could have had a heart attack. He could have just fell asleep because, like it said, he was doing, I can't remember the game, but it was a game for 2 hours. He might have been exhausted and got in and fell asleep. You don't know what's happened. So people really shouldn't speculate that it was related to his addictions because it might not have been. No one knows, and they won't know until they've done an autopsy. So people shouldn't just presume he's relapsed because it could be any number of medical things that went wrong, or he could have simply been exhausted and fell asleep. But it is really, really sad. And all those, like, I'm not going to read all those stories because it's probably things I've read before, but it's probably going to upset me more reading all this stuff. There's been no statements or anything been released from his main friends co-stars. So it'd be interesting to see what they've got to say. But it is sad. And it's sad that his elderly parents have to deal with the media circus. They should be able to grieve privately and not be put in that situation what I witnessed in that video. It's horrible. They're elderly. They're like in their 80s. They shouldn't have to deal with that. My dog's curled up in her BED. I wish I was curled up in mine. I am that exhausted. I'm so sleep deprived. I had the opportunity to fall back to sleep. Like, I was awake ages before she realised and got on the bed. And I think even if I'd fallen back to sleep and she'd got on the bed, I think she would have let me sleep a bit longer. I don't think she was in a hurry to get me up. And it's my own fault for going on my phone. But there was something telling me to go on the news thing. Because normally that's the last thing I look at. If I'm waking up and I know I need to go back to sleep, I don't want to go on and read something that might upset me. But something told me to go on there and have a look. And I did. And then, of course, I didn't get back to sleep as much as I would have liked to have gone back to sleep. And not just that, it did wake me up and my mind started to wander. And that's one of the reasons why a couple of months ago I stopped myself from looking at my phone when I woke up, even if I desperately wanted to look at it. I tried to get out of the habit of doing it, because even if I went on it for 5 minutes, it's still going to keep me awake for a certain amount of time when, sleep is needed and I don't get enough as it is. And I wish I could go and curl up. She's got her BED with a cushion, then she's got a blanket, and it's one that I had to fold in half and then half again to fit in it, and it's all cosy. Then she's got a pillow that was on my bed, and I washed it in the washing machine. Where to wash to? If you've watched the videos, if they're up before this, which they might not be, I don't know. They probably will be. You'll know why I had to wash 2 pillows, and they didn't come out great, and I couldn't get them to how they should be because they got twisted. So the less worse of the 2 I put to one side in her downstairs BED. So it makes it even more cozier for her. So I'd love to go and cuddle up in that. I mean, there ain't room for both of us. And I know a human can fit in that. It's the biggest one you can get in that shop that I got it from. But yeah, it is a sad day. It's sad what's happened. Obviously it's sad. And it's sad that his parents have to go through what they've got to go through. Not only grieving the son, but the media. And I know there's going to be a lot of attention on it just because of how famous he was, because of the TV show. I mean, the TV show, was just so big, and it is still so big. It's on all the time. I mean, I've not seen it on just for the pure reason I don't watch much TV. I rarely put it on, even on in the background. And I used to have it on in the background all the time, even if I weren't watching it. But there's just nothing on that really interests me. But you never know. Friends might be on all day, who knows? But if I do see an episode, I probably will sit and watch it. Especially, well, I was going to say especially if it was funny, but they're all funny. Some are funnier than others. But I thought I'd film and talk about how I feel. It is sad. Reading stuff has upset me. That's why I'm choosing not to read much. Because I don't want to keep getting upset. But I probably will get upset even if, I don't read it. Let me know if you ever watched Friends. I mean, I think most people have watched at least one episode. But let me know if you've watched it. Let me know how you feel. let me know where you were when you read the news, heard the news, saw the news, depending on how you viewed it. Let me know if you have a favourite Friends episode. That is a question, that, you know, favourite Friends episode. Because there were some really funny ones. Do you know what? I couldn't even answer that. But one of the things that stands out, like the thing that came into my mind then, remember when Julia Roberts were in it? And obviously she played with Matthew Perry's character, and like she got him to take all his clothes off in the toilet, and they actually ended up in a relationship after that. And I think he said that he actually ended the relationship. I can't remember. I think it was something along the lines of like he felt she was too good for him or something. It was something like that. But that was a really funny episode, and like literally that was the episode that came into my head. I'm not saying like it was my favourite ever episode, but that I loved that episode. It was funny. But yeah, I'm gonna go. But I hope you all have a wonderful day when you're watching this. And I'm sure I'll be back hopefully tomorrow for you, not for me, with another video hopefully. But thank you so much for watching.